Okay, chapter 2, section 2, round 3. I kind of got all lost in my own head. I'm trying again. So this is, section 2 is entitled The Atonement as Defense. This is fascinating. And the atonement we have decided in our group, or we're throwing around a few different, definitions, is just the undoing and like the releasing and the forgiving. And today I heard it in a talk. The atonement is the liberation from separation. So in fact, some people call it the at-one-ment or the oneness, that the oneness is the destination, our spiritual finish line of awakening, is knowing the oneness of all life. And so really, to me, we could say choosing oneness and choosing love is what we're being encouraged over defense, over separation. That's the overall gist. And there was so much. But I feel like I just want to speak about the last paragraph 7, because it really hit home for me. Sometimes these words feel very archaic or from another time, and they feel wise, but they may not feel instantly accessible. But when this was read, I had clear picture, of which I will do my best to share while maintaining a sense of privacy and being as open as I can, because I would, in some ways I'd love to be wide open, and in other ways I feel like that's not loving. So what it said in paragraph 7 is, the atonement is a total commitment. You may still think this is associated with loss, a mistake all the separated sons of God make in one way or the other. It is hard to believe a defense that cannot attack is the best defense. This is what is meant by the meek shall inherit the earth. They will literally take it over because of their strength. Yes, Care Bears. Care Bears unite. A two-way defense is inherently weak precisely because it has two edges and can be turned against you very unexpectedly, like the double-edged sword. This possibility cannot be controlled except by miracles. The miracle turns the defense of atonement to your real protection. And as you become more and more secure, you assume your natural talent of protecting others, knowing yourself as both brother and a son. All right, here's what that said to me. When you lay down the sword, and the sword is also could be this kind of like finger pointer, so whether or not you're actually like cutting people, no, but are you kind of finger pointing? Are you, and okay, I still blame and think, I still get into thinking. So again, it's very important. Like I have a friend who always wants me to separate the I from ego behavior. It's like, that's not you. You are the spirit. That's what everything's saying. And it's like, okay, so I might put it like, I find myself believing ego thoughts. And egoic thoughts are definitely swords. They can be toward me, toward life, toward God, toward another person. So it happened to me today. I got into a little bit of a, and it was kind of under this premise of like, okay, my husband should be doing this and not that. Like, and basically he's so good at like relaxing and restoring, and we're different personalities. That's literally how he kind of, from what I understand, it's kind of like his way of balancing is to relax and rest. And I don't find that as a natural impulse. So often if there's something that he could have done and I get like, oh, sure, you're resting, and from a standpoint, like you could argue like, okay, sure, yeah, household chores should be shared and like it's best and it's harmonious. That's very true. I'm not against harmony. Here's what is not going to help. It's not helpful to be in a judgmental state of mind attacking him in any way in my mind. And luckily I was listening to a class on prayer, so I said a prayer and it fixed it, like put me back into right alignment. Now, I would say I have a friend. I feel like she could be wife of the year, honestly, wife of the galaxy. I honestly at first thought it was really annoying to know her because I was like, excuse me, like, you're making me feel really worse, And then it's like, okay, don't compare your marriage, It's just that I actually admire her because it seems like she has no swords. It seems like her first thought is loving support. So when I read that paragraph, I was like, she gets it. And I'm one with her, so that's great. It's just the fact that I'm still, you see, it said at first, you may still associate the oneness or the atonement with a loss. And it's like, I'd have to lay down my opinions about how high the heat should go and kind of, and there's something I'm valuing. It says earlier, it's like where your heart is what you value, and you have to be really sure. So what I know about my friend, I know she values respecting her partner. And I asked her one time, I was like, you are so like evolved. And she was like, my mom modeled this. And my mom, she said something like, this is your person. Like, and she said it in this way, like, this is who you're choosing to live with and love. So you accept them fully and you love them. And I'm like, okay. And I'm teaching this, I'm counseling people, and there's something, I'm just so interested, I'm declaring it now, I'm willing to shift, that I would value the atonement more and the oneness and the loving perspective more than anything else. And man, I am so serious. I'm ready. But when I read that paragraph, it was like, I saw that friend of mine, and it's true. It's like, it's looking at that, my partner, as not somebody that I correct, but it's like my brother. It's somebody I would maybe say something, but in a loving way, not in a corrective way. Like I am some professor of household management. I don't have any degree in, but I act like it. And so I'm just so interested to value seeing through all the things and like really, and my first impulse being love. And I'm willing, and I'm going to get there. I'm not even worried about it, but I'm just like, okay, lay down the swords. Because I shared in the group, once I ever like point out to my husband, like, oh, you left this on, or this happened. And he's like, geez, and then later I make a mistake, because I'm human like he is. And then I'm like, oh, shoot. And that's where it's like, oh, ooh. I guess I'm not an authority on this anymore. But anyway, it's truly, truly liberating to know the path of liberation, I can feel it in my being that this is what's more natural and more energy enhancing than going around with my swords of judgment. So I don't know. Well, I hope you enjoy this. I never prayed yesterday, so let's say a prayer. I'm still learning how to be consistent. I'm still getting in a rhythm. I'll get there. But okay, so grateful to have this truth at our disposal. So grateful that the atonement is something I didn't make. And so it is a pathway to pure peace and complete peace and knowing the oneness of all life, which is it's so refreshing. It's so relieving to lay down the enemy game and to pick up the game of brotherhood and sisterhood, and to not value anything that would put a wedge in the moment from love flowing in all directions. So I'm praying this prayer for all, that we all We all ask for help when we're judging, when we're upset with another person. That maybe we stop and in our own way just ask, like, please, what I wish for now is peace and harmony, and for them to feel my love and to leave behind everything else. And so we know that when we ask, we are receiving, because we are one with the source that offers this remembrance. And so we're grateful for our connection to the Creator, and we share the benefits with everyone because we're one with everyone at one ment. Atonement. Amen. Peace out.